Okay, we're recording. Okay,
Hello,
perfect.
everyone. Welcome back to Film for Thought. This is our 4th episode. Today we're going to be talking about our top 10 movies of the decade, which is really exciting. We have a bigger crew in the room than normal. There's about...
We're sharing
7 of us
microphones.
on the mic, so bear with us. While
Took
we
you a while to
share.
count.
It's going to get real
It's gonna be a shit show.
That's Jiro speaking.
Yeah, exactly. There's not even 7 of us in the room.
Himself. This is I'm the host, Michael Lardizabal.
Anyways,
I can do it.
Hey, let's not.
can't even count.
let's
How
not
can he do an
save it
intro?
for semantics. Okay, so let's go around the room, see who's here, who isn't. So, who are you next to me?
I'm Hiro Roma.
Wait,
Hi,
you
nice
gotta
to
get
meet
closer to the mic.
Get a little bit closer.
You gotta get
closer.
up in there.
I'm Hiro Roma. It's really nice to be here. If you can't tell by my volume in this recording, I'm extraordinarily close to the microphone right now. I think the next person next to me has got to go.
I'm Maya. I'm even closer to the microphone right now.
I'd like to apologize to our listeners because the microphone that Maya's on hasn't been working for the last 3 episodes.
Oh no, is it working?
I mean, they fixed it.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure they fixed it. I really hope they
Please
fixed
ignore
it.
our
That would be
host.
great if they
Please
fixed
ignore our
it.
host. He's fooling.
Yeah, that's
Continue,
pretty much
Ben.
it.
No, Maya, you already went?
Hey, it's me. Yep.
Okay. Hey, it's Ben. I'm here. I like movies. Now, Carmen, go.
Okay. Carmen Dunning. Yeah, that's it.
Cool, what's up? I'm Gigi. I'm back again. It's been 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right, guys, let's get started.
Let's get baby.
All right, so we had a little meeting before we started recording today, and we almost got into fist fights because we were sharing our individual top 10 lists, and
Things got a little heated.
things got a little heated. Normally we record on Fridays, and today's Wednesday, so we decided to record since we wanted to get all this juicy info in.
Yeah.
So
We just have the energy now.
Basically,
we
we're
just
just
got
fuck it. We're recording it
We're
now.
recording it right now.
Right now.
We were talking about, we were like, let's record it next Wednesday or something, or on Monday, and then we were just like, no, let's do it now.
let's do it. Fucking right now.
So we're doing it right now.
I guess what we're gonna do with this podcast is make a list between the 6 of us that is
He finally
the
got
top
the number
10
right.
best movies of the decade. So nothing before 2010, January 1st.
All the best movies came out in 2009.
That is
Yeah,
incorrect.
Dark
That
Knight.
is
Okay,
not-
well,
that
let's
is
talk about that
That
later.
is
Let's talk about that
100%
later.
correct.
Okay.
That's
Maya and
actually
I are
what we're
together on
talking
this.
about, so,
I think
And Ben too.
the way we can do it is we can go around saying just be okay, so this is a number 10, first on the list, not being the top rated.
Mhm.
You
So
know what I mean?
the bottom rated one.
Yeah, and then let's move up to discuss the first one.
Should we do bottom rated and then top 3 and then try and weasel in the other 6?
That's something.
What?
That's too much math for me.
Back and forth, dude.
Carmen on
maybe
that.
that's too confusing.
I gotta remember my numbers.
I don't remember
6.
numbers.
1
We're
and
film
6.
students.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We're not good at math.
We're not good
That's
at math.
Yeah.
For sure.
I never learned calculus. So.
All right.
Let's just
This is
start
why I'm a
arguing because I just want to
criminology
argue. I'm ready.
All right. Well, I just want to preview something. Gigi's list is so whack.
Stop.
It is.
Stop.
It is
Okay,
We're all gonna shit on her,
okay.
but
I am
wait,
not
I
a
do
film
not
student.
know.
I do not
Michael,
have
to be
it.
fair, Gigi is not a film student. She is not on our level.
Exactly.
Of
I don't have the same knowledge.
Listen,
I'm just an audience member.
We'll let the listeners decide
Okay,
first.
I just like
okay,
what I
this is my
like
problem.
as an audience member.
If you're served a delicious plate of food, do you know it's delicious because it is? It is good because
Right.
it is good.
Right.
No, that's an
Instead
argument.
of
But we
if
know
you're
why
served
it's
something's
That's what I
bad,
call
you
it.
know it's bad because it tastes bad.
Yeah.
Like a movie, if you look at a movie and it's bad,
Okay,
you know
but
it's
Michael,
bad.
Michael,
But
here's the difference.
to counter, if you're a chef, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna eat a piece of pizza that's cheap or whatever, like Papa John's, and you're gonna be like, "This is terrible. This
And
is
you're gonna know
this,
why
the
it's
crust is
terrible.
terrible."
Does that
Exactly.
take away from the fact that it tastes good though?
Yes. Because
No,
you know
Okay,
why
as a
it-
chef-
because I'm 100% sure there's chefs out there that eat pizza.
We have
Think about it,
very culinary.
no,
It has nothing to do
no,
with
no,
Papa
no,
John
shut up.
versus
If I
Goldberg.
made you a lasagna and then
What?
and then
Why are we doing dude? Like, why are we all
We're getting lost in this.
if I made you a lasagna and then Maya
wait,
also
wait.
made you a lasagna and
No.
Maya's clearly a better cook than me and Maya's lasagna definitely tastes better than my lasagna and you are Gordon Ramsay and you can tell the difference between why my lasagna is trash and why her lasagna is better.
Exactly.
Welcome back to
Then you would
Lasagna
of course
for
know that her lasagna is better. So
She put the Avengers on her top 10 list of the decade.
Of course,
How am I supposed to feel?
Of course, we know that many movies are better than Frozen, but that has nothing to do with her perspective.
Pasta for thought, like.
Let's pasta for thought.
All right, so I think we should get
Okay,
down to business.
number
Okay, let's
10.
get down to business.
All right.
I just first before we do all of that, so prior to this bullshit, like we listed all of our top 10s just to like get it out there. Just want to say that the ones that had the most in common, like the ones that showed up on everyone's list, Get Out, Wolf of Wall Street, Grand Budapest Hotel, Boyhood, Florida Project, Skipping the Lobster.
Okay,
We're not
wait a
skipping
minute.
the
The
Lobster.
Lobster was
Okay.
fantastic.
Already Maya's taking
Already
control.
Maya's
Let-
taking the reins and steering
let's-
us directly
I'm
into a
sorry,
snowbank.
and
So
the
let's
lobster.
let's
Let's-
deal with this.
let's
Why?
talk
Wait,
about-
no, I have
Why
a
don't we talk
question.
about the lobster?
Let's
talk about the
let's
lobster.
talk about the lobster.
Let's talk about
Let's
the
all
lobster.
shit on
Let's
Maya
talk
right
about
now.
the
Pinnacle of Yorgos' work, by the way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yorgos
This man
Lanthimos.
literally,
Yorgos
the
Lanthimos.
artistry in this work, the aesthetic, just
Oh, yeah.
the complete experience of watching this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because this isn't just a movie; it's an experience, Maya.
Preach.
It's also
This is the
unlike
thing.
anything that has ever been made.
It's just
Exactly.
Yeah, like so like dystopia. Never heard of it. Like, it's
Okay, but like, the movie that
Michael's
just
face. Michael's face.
like it's just exploring
Okay.
something cinematically that nobody has explored. In a
Not
way-
even the Russo.
Maya, why don't you
Maya's
like the
just
lobster?
shaking her head. She does not know how
Everyone-
to respond. She's dumbfounded
Let
because
Maya
the movie's
talk.
so good.
just not
So,
dumbfounded.
alright,
It was
wait.
so depressing. It wasn't that.
Can I say
big.
something real
Okay,
quick?
wait.
I
The
really
ending
like
though was
depressing
so
movies.
amazing of
All
the
right, so
lobster.
compared to
It's
because
not on
I
my list, by the way.
It is a good movie. Is
You're
it
gonna
the
be like
best
in
It's
the
a great movie, but
left
it's not on my
ear.
list.
Spanish. I also like want to point out that like I feel like a lot of these movies on this list are like pretty recent, and like back in 2010 we were kids, and I think we left out a lot of those movies.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I
I can agree with
tried
that.
what I-
Very,
the-
like,
true. The
20-year-old
way
movies.
that, the way that I came up with my list is like I just grabbed some of my personal favorites that came out this decade, and then I went back and saw like Oscar nominations and stuff like that, and like
Yeah.
what won in Sundance for like each individual year.
I also only pick movies I've seen.
Yeah, I think
I copied
everybody
myself
just
the
picked
other
movies.
night.
I
Why
copied
would you put a
list
movie that I haven't
exactly.
seen?
Well, because I feel
I
like
did not
I
try.
contemplated putting it on my list, even though I've never seen like the new version of it.
Okay, well,
just
it
because
isn't
it's got like a
critically,
lot of
like,
like stuff
delicious.
I really liked it because they have really good.
All right,
chemistry.
wait. So like, for
on.
example, on that, like, I feel like
Are we gonna make the
a
list?
lot of people
Are we gonna
have
make the
seen
list?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, are we gonna-
Wolf
are we
of
gonna make
Wall
the
Street
list?
is a movie that even if you haven't seen Wolf of Wall Street, like most people in here, is there anyone who's on the mic who hasn't seen Wolf of Wall Street?
What was that?
Gigi, have you seen Wolf of Wall
JJ, have
Street?
you seen Wolf of Wall Street?
I've seen bits and pieces.
So like everyone has seen Wolf of Wall Street. Came out in 2013. And wait,
Okay.
I'm irrelevant.
to bring back my point home, like if somebody did what Michael just said, where he went back to look at Oscar noms and saw that Wolf of Wall Street was getting a lot of attention as one of the best movies of the decade, they could maybe put that on their list
Hold on.
theoretically.
Hold the phone. We have
Without-
technical
I
difficulties.
think we lost Gigi.
Time out.
Hey, it's fine.
We lost
We
Gigi.
lost
Can
Gigi.
you hear me now?
Can we?
Is this working?
How about is this allowed? Can we take a pause and
I'm not recording.
Can we pause?
can we pause and just come back and it'll be like
All right,
Take-
quick
30-second
quick,
timeout.
quick break.
yeah, we'll just stop.
And
We
then,
can stop recording, or we can just
Can we monitor? Can we cut? And then like, yeah, can we?
yeah,
let's do-
yeah, and then we can just come back and it'll be like nothing for the list.
Can y'all hear me?
We're back.
All right, we're back, guys.
Now you can
It was
hear me
literally in 2
talk about
seconds.
bad
We figured that
movies.
so quick. It
Wow, I
hasn't
can't
been like
believe-
That
20
happened
minutes.
in 2 seconds.
Can't believe
yeah.
they finished that. Wow, that's ridiculous.
That was so
It's
fast.
So
We
quick.
did
We just
that.
fixed
2 seconds.
problems. It's like poof. Okay.
It's
Magic.
like
All right.
15 minutes
where
at
were we
least.
on? Oh, okay.
Number 10. What y'all think?
the lobster.
Number 10 for lobster.
I'm gonna be
I
honest.
think
No, no.
lobster should be in like 5 or above.
Okay,
No,
okay,
I really
okay.
do think the lobster's in the bottom.
Can I
half.
can I
No.
No.
interject?
Yeah, there's-
Compromise
there's
at
way-
7?
No.
There's
Can we
way more.
compromise?
Like there are movies that need to be in the top 5.
I feel
that
like
are not the lobster.
I feel like at least I think we can unanimously agree that for at least in the bottom 5, Wolf of Wall Street. Yes.
Okay, okay.
Bottom 5 or
you
top
mean?
5?
Bottom 5.
I think Wolf of Wall
It's
Street
not
is
in my
top
bottom
5.
5, but in terms of a
believable.
decade movie, yeah, I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
support that.
Yeah,
I would
no.
go with
Bottom
that.
5?
Bottom 5.
I mean,
Leo
like,
should have got an Oscar for that one,
that depends. Like,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
not whatever the fucking other one was.
like
Revenant.
I think that,
for an hour and a half.
Is
Monica
Get Out-
feels
is Get
like she's
Out in
been
the top
ear
five?
raped
Get
right
Out
now.
is in the top five.
Man.
Sorry,
Poor
Monica.
Monica.
All right,
Wait,
what about-
wait. Interjection though. I know this is a podcast for film students, so yes. But like I've
not
never
for film
seen.
students.
Well, I thought that was our like
Only
motto,
film
but
students can
whatever.
Only
If you're not a
film
film student,
students
turn
can
it
listen
off
to this
right now.
podcast.
Turn it
Everybody
off.
else,
If you've graduated,
Anyway.
you already know. So you
Okay,
can't
but
do
like
this.
I've never seen this lobster movie before. I don't even know what
This
it's
lobster's
about.
the lobster.
It's about.
not a lobster.
It is.
Have you not
It is
seen
the monster.
Pixar's The Lobster?
I can tell you
It's
never
about a
seen it.
lobster
About
who
the
finds
lobster.
his.
I think that we should.
That's a great plot.
The format shouldn't be us fighting over singulars. It should be fighting over whether or not those movies belong in a certain spot.
We can
Fighting
Okay.
over whether or not a movie is good.
I just think general audiences
has
have
nothing to
never
do with this
really
point because we all
noticed
know
or
that
seen
those
that,
movies
so-
are good. They're
Yeah,
in our top
yeah,
10
yeah.
list anyway. We should be discussing where they belong in that
All right,
list.
I feel like
Okay.
the lobster belongs number 3.
I think The Lobster belongs in number.
I literally have no idea what
what?
this movie is, so it's like not even
Yeah, for
Seven's
me,
not
on
bad.
the list.
for me, lobster's in the top half. It's still top 10,
Lobster's
but
top
it's
five.
in the top half. Like not the no
like
way.
I wouldn't complain.
Okay,
if
okay.
it's
I
above
really think
five.
it's
For
seven.
It's above
argument's
five.
sake, let's let
I-
Maya say something because she's shaking her head over there, and I know she wants to say
Yeah,
something.
let's all shut up and listen to Maya's bad opinion about the lobster.
It's fine. The lobster can be in the top 3.
No,
Top
I think
three.
Okay,
No, no,
really?
but
Brother,
here's
that
the
was a
argument.
fucking dog.
I disagree.
He carried
That
the
has
dog.
nothing to
I
do
don't
with the
know.
totality of this
Wait, no.
experience.
Wait, hold on.
You're
A
discussing
nigga
my
got his hands toasted from masturbating. This
Bro,
movie was
yes.
Yeah.
stupid.
Wait,
movie's great.
Wait, Maya, can you actually
have
tell?
no
like,
context.
No jokes. Wait, hold on. Let's all shut up for a second. Maya, tell us why you actually didn't like the
I
lobster.
didn't like The Lobster, yo. I tried to watch this shit because it was in my list for the longest time. Bro, The Lobster is the driest, quietest, most like artsy ass, like art fart ass, like.
You're explaining why it's the best movie ever right now. I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, basically,
No,
like,
yeah, please.
Let
Wait,
me-
wait,
wait,
let
no,
her
no, no,
finish.
let her
Let
finish,
her
let her
finish.
finish.
Basically, like, it's a world where you have to find love within a certain period of time, otherwise you get turned into an animal. And then there's like the world is like filled with dogs because everyone, of course, wants to be a dog.
I would actually
And, like,
never
this
watch
one
this
dude was
movie. I'm not gonna lie.
"Hey, I want to be fucking a lobster because like they live for 100 years. It's different. Like yeah. And then like there's this bitch and she's like, if I don't find love, I'm gonna kill myself. She fucking did. And, like, she just,
Oh my
but
god.
she didn't even fucking die. She jumped out the window and then she was
She turned
still
into an
alive.
animal or
So she
something?
just
Oh.
screamed for like forever. People just like looked at it and like
They were
it's
like,
so
oh, there she
dystopian,
goes.
No one has feelings.
I
it's
just want to say
different,
something for our
like-
listeners. Maya is atrociously misrepresenting this movie.
Yeah. If you haven't seen this movie,
For
do not
Okay,
listen
Maya's
to
the
Maya.
only one
Yeah, do not
describing
listen
enough
to
for me
Maya.
to
I'd like to
understand
say-
though.
The movie was so good.
About what Maya's saying and what I'd like to cross-examine is that Maya's
Please.
coming at this from a perspective that is not taking into account just how powerful everything she just said is. Like, as a technique for filmmaking, minimalism is in its full stride in the mid 2010s. Like, making movies that are about one thing and doing it incredibly well and making you feel suspense and making you feel
Didn't feel suspense.
in like these
Felt
crazy
bored.
these crazy human
I was bored.
emotions that are on
There were no emotions. Everyone had muted
so
emotions.
what I'm saying to you is
Okay.
that that's a stylistic choice.
There was
So
literally a woman named the Heartless Woman in
So
the
the-
fucking movie. I'm going to cry.
the movie that I'm going to bring into comparison, and this movie is not in my top 10 list, but I do think that it is one of the best movies of the last 10 years, is Ex Machina. Ex Machina is
Just
a
another
movie-
art fart ass movie, bro.
Okay, fuck you. Okay, fuck you.
no,
Fuck
hey,
you. Fuck
hey,
you.
Maya, because
No,
you have, like-
because I was gonna put that in my top 10. I
Like-
almost did.
The
Oh my.
difference between
Ex
that
Machina-
and
no.
Ex Machina is good, and there's suspense.
Ex Machina isn't good.
Okay, thank you. At least.
If you're going by
Wait, what?
No, hold on.
Wait, hold on.
By the same
I'm confused. I'm leaving right now. I
By the
don't-
same
Conflicting
critique
problems
that Maya is going against the Lobster as, if she uses the exact same critique that she's going against the Lobster to critique the Ex Machina would be a bad movie in her
Take a
eyes.
shot every time
Because
he
it
says
does
critique.
it does the same it does the same thing stylistically that the Lobster does by reducing all of the chafe. There's no material in either of those movies that doesn't immediately need to be there for you to understand what those characters are going through. And that's why Ex Machina is so beautiful, is because it's two characters in a room. One of them is human and one of them isn't, and half the time you can't tell which is which. And the reason why Lobster is so beautiful is because half of those characters are okay with the fact that they are in the situation that they are in, and half of those characters are trying to break that situation. And it just so happens that one dude got so psycho messed up about it that he was like, it doesn't actually matter to me what happens, I'll just be a lobster. And that's the story, and that's the moral is like, does it actually matter what happens to us in our lives? We die anyway.
Can I say that it's a good story? It's shot beautifully.
So how could it be a bad movie?
But is it the best
No,
movie?
that's why I think it should be
2010 to 2020.
Yorgos Lanthimos.
Lanthimos.
2010 to 2020.
I think it should be number 7. I think it deserves to be
The
on
people-
the list.
I
don't think it
said that
deserves
we
to be
can
cracked top
compromise
10.
at 7.
I mean, works
if if you're gonna compare The Lobster to Yorgos's recent, yours is
The
directed,
Favorite?
by the way, the favorite that came out. The Favorite was a good movie, but The Lobster, I feel like that
Completely
exemplifies
different.
like what he does best.
It's so gritty.
Yeah, it is. It is gritty, and he has such a way of just representing characters and such a like the dry humor and the way they carry out the plot.
You feel the hole that is in his heart.
I'm gonna make a
The
parody
whole
skit about
Like
Lobster.
the entire.
I'm just thinking of Octodad with lobsters in it.
Yo, we're gonna use
The entire movie is based on totalities. Like it's like you're either in or you're out. You're either with us, you're against us, and then the movie does that so well.
That's how life
and that's
is.
why
It's
that
just
movie
a-
has to be number 3.
No, I think
I feel like this is like an AP
number
English
7.
class
I
where
really
we're
love
trying
this.
to like
Alright,
draw stuff out
actually,
that's
number
not there.
7's not
Number
bad.
7.
Can we settle on number 7 for The Lobster?
Number 7.
One last thing I want to say about The Lobster. That movie, the reason like it's so dry, like that movie is like really cool to me because in all these other movies, you're watching these actors like show these emotions and you're like feeling the emotions that they're showing. But in that movie, you're watching them experience things that should make them feel emotions, and then you're feeling those emotions, but they're not, and it's like this weird mind fuck, and I like that.
Remember when that bitch killed his dog?
Yes,
Alright.
I do remember.
We're gonna move on.
Move on. Let's move on. We're wasting
All
time.
right, I want to address something that I feel like everybody's gonna have a consensus on.
Yeah.
What spot should Boyhood be on?
Boyhood should be at
Oh,
number 3.
bottom, like
bottom 5.
Bottom 5.
like
I-
wait,
Alright, if-
no, wait, hold on. Is bottom 5 better or worse?
The worst.
Oh no, top 5.
Why would bottom 5
I don't know.
Why would
Because
bottom
1
5
is a
be-
lower number than 10. That's why I
We're
thought.
talking
I
about
don't know.
Boyhood. I think that Boyhood.
He thought it was like a countdown or something.
So
We're going 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and etc.
Boyhood, I think, as a movie, from the perspective of somebody who makes movies and knows how hard it is to make movies and knows what it takes to make a movie that would take 10, 15, 20 years to shoot, like, you can see what the outcome is. Like, the proof's in the pudding when you watch Boyhood. Like, it's realized. They realized what they were going
Someone's playing the piano.
Yeah, I know.
I know it's really
Hope,
dramatic.
can you hear that?
They realized what they set out to
Oh, it's
create. So I think that Boyhood does deserve to be in the top 5.
Can we hear Hero?
Yeah, like sort of.
All right, can you get a little
Yeah, you
closer,
should get
I
closer. I
just
think.
think like we should definitely observe Boyhood in at least the top 10 list. I think it deserves to be on the list itself, but I think that it doesn't do what movies are supposed to do, which is extract us from reality. I think it stays too close, and that's why I'm 50-50 like divided on Boyhood, because I think that as a story and as an art project and as like a concept and a goal that somebody set out to fulfill, it is a masterclass. But as a movie and on a list where we're talking about movies and like stories, and we have things like Baby Driver and Moonlight on this list, I don't think that it is in the same like category of like dramatic.
Can I ask what
But
this
does that-
movie is about? 'Cause I haven't seen it.
Is it
Alright,
like
so-
what that
Boyhood, it's
does?
about Boyhood.
Does it make it
It's
any
literally about
more or
Boyhood.
less like just because it's a different category?
It's kind of a two-edged sword in the way that Hero's stating it. Like there's a perspective of like the movie Boyhood, just to like preface it for Maya and Gigi, I assume haven't seen it. It's
Okay, fine, roast me
have
like
you
that.
seen this movie, Maya?
Okay,
I mean,
wait.
Gigi.
No, but still, you didn't have to call me out like that.
Okay, so this movie, it was a last film between this kid who's the actor. I can't remember the name of his movie.
I remember the
When-
kid was
His name was
supposed to like
Darwin
sign a ton
Davidson.
of stuff because
His name was
10
Charles
years.
Darwin.
Okay, no.
No,
When they started filming when he was about 7 or 8, and then this movie takes about 12 years to film.
Oh, it's Boyhood. That's cool as fuck. But that's
and it ends when he's like 18. So this movie
Right.
took 12 years to shoot, and
Hell
like
yeah.
it's a sort of experience the way this movie is shot. Not the way this
it's
movie
like
shot. Sorry,
it's like a surreal documentary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but-
it's
How does
it's-
that like make it
it's-
any like higher or lower on the list?
Okay,
like, what
here's-
makes
here's
it
my thing.
so-
But the way I was trying to express it, like there's two ways. There's like the first way that's like we have movies on this list that are like clearly like well established movies for what they are. But Boyhood, particularly, like we've never seen something like this in cinematic history. A movie that's taken 12 years to shoot.
History.
It is
That's what we're
history in
talking
the
about here.
making.
We're wrapping up the decade. This is history of the decade. This happened during our lifetimes.
All right, so
This is history.
I'm gonna put Boyhood in for
I think Carmen's reaction to that was pretty
I feel
accurate.
like
Yeah.
Makes 4.
I feel like 5
I'm
would
down
be
4.
like
It's top
a
5.
good consensus between all of
Five?
us.
Yeah.
I can take 5.
It's top 5. It's got to be
Let's
top
do it.
5
Let's
for
do
me.
it.
Yeah, no,
Let's do
let's
five.
get it in the middle. Yeah.
Bottom
Put it in the
5,
middle.
top 5, it's still 5.
It's 5.
Yeah, no,
It's
exactly.
five.
All right, I guess.
But I want to know.
Does 5 work?
Yeah, I want to know what you were saying though about how it's like too realistic. I guess.
It's just it doesn't make me feel like movies for me are an escape. and
Okay.
Movies for me are a way to like observe the positives, the negatives.
You got to
the,
get real
like,
close to that mic.
the
You got to get in
things
that bitch.
It's a way to observe like
Oh.
like the overs and the unders of reality, not what reality actually is, like the extremes or
Okay.
just. It's
Yeah. No. Okay. I
it's a
mean,
way to,
Wait,
like,
wait.
I can.
Okay,
Okay.
hold
I
on.
can
it's a
see
way
what
to
you're saying, but
explore
I'm gonna
things that
disagree
don't
with that.
actually
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I gotta
agree.
disagree.
Like Lady Bird, I feel like
With
it's such a realistic
Carmen.
movie. It's not. It's not the extremes, but I feel like it's such a beautiful
Well,
movie
that
because
did-
it's so human.
I think coming of age, for the most part, they aren't really too much different from what actually happened.
It just
Right.
really
Yeah.
depends on
It's about
personal
the vibe.
preference.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying,
I
like,
really wanted
it's-
to put like 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri, because that movie is extremely realistic for what it is. Like those characters feel human. They don't feel like people.
Yeah.
Like, they don't
Yeah.
feel like characters.
And I really
They don't
appreciate
feel
that when a-
actors.
when
They
a-
look
when a
like-
writer
they
can-
seem like people. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
No.
guess we're talking about coming of age stories, so I guess I want to nominate mine, and most people in the room haven't seen
Hold
it.
on.
So
No, go ahead.
We're gonna talk about it anyway, but I think there's a spot in any top 10 list when you're making movies for coming of age stories. I think for like most people are like really into their coming of age stories and they like them when they're done really well and they're done cinematically. And I think for me the best one of the decade is Sing Street. It's this
No one has seen this movie.
No
so
one's seen it.
Nobody's
So we'll
this
give you
movie.
like 1 minute or like no 30 seconds to like
Yeah, I'm just
pitch
gonna-
Sing
I'm
Street
just
to
gonna
us.
plug
Pitch that movie.
Just pitch it to us.
It's just like a really bare bones movie about coming of age and like making music as a way to deal with that struggle. And it takes place in 80s Ireland when like there's a deep Catholic, you know, regime kind of vibe around like family and the way you should grow up. And it's about challenging all of those expectations and like finding love in hard times to deal with those, you know, like those overcomings. So I think it's really good. It was made in 2016, and it's kind of just it's light while still being heavy. It uses good classic 80s music that people don't really know about. It references Duran Duran a lot, which I think is really funny. It's just like a good movie.
Okay.
So-
One sentence or 2 sentences. Why should we watch this movie?
He just explained why.
Watch this
I know,
movie.
but like
Just explain
too
why.
long. Didn't read. Like
Watch this movie because it is what you want out of any movie that you go into, trying to make you feel nostalgic for something you can't actually be nostalgic for. So
Cut.
like,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's a good way to
That,
put
that was
it.
good. That was
Okay.
good.
So hold on. When we're talking about coming of age movies,
Lady Bird.
go.
Lady Bird.
Go.
You love this movie.
Carmen,
Go.
Carmen,
Let's
go.
go.
I do love this movie because
Carmen
it's,
doesn't stop
it's,
talking about this movie. So go.
Okay, because like Greta Gerwig and also with Frances Ha, I want to throw Frances Ha in there too, even though it's not really coming of age. But I feel like
That was a good one.
One at a time. Calm down.
okay.
No, I'm playing.
No, I feel like because it's so human, and I use that word a lot because it's just like I feel like it's really hard to get dialogue and characters so right, you know, because like we can write, we can
definitely
yeah, we can write like
super.
we can write whatever, you know, but you know when we write dialogue, all of us I'm pretty sure have written dialogue, and it's like what would someone say, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like Lady Bird, I feel like yeah, and how would you say it, you know, and it's just like oh my God, it's so beautiful and it's so human. It's just human is what it is. And same thing with Frances Ha.
Yeah, I think
about Captain Fantastic.
I think like okay, hold on, but I think for Lady Bird and Boyhood, because it was a written movie, although it was like very close to real life, it was still written. I think one thing that we're forgetting is that who here has sat down and tried to write a script with dialogue?
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah,
has seen
everyone's
that.
Okay,
that don't
and
know.
what
Even
happens?
the non-film student has
Okay.
done this before.
So we've all done it. And and what happens every time you sit down? You sit down, you start writing, and then you forget what a conversation is like
Yeah, you forget how to
entirely.
speak.
You
Yeah.
forget entirely what a human would say in any situation,
That's so true, actually.
right?
It's
So that's why
so
Lady
hard
Bird is
for
great,
any
and that's why
listener
Boyhood
who
is
has
great.
Never
Exactly, and
attempted
Frances
to
Ha.
write an honest conversation, and
think-
attempt to put it to film. It's the hardest piece of our job is to make these characters feel honest.
And that's why Boyhood is great.
And
I thought for Lady Bird, the mom was really, really accurate.
Oh,
I
the
will
mom was
say that.
so
The
accurate.
mom-
Their relationship was
the
so
mom
accurate.
is literally my mom.
Yeah,
I was
no,
like,
that mom is
yeah.
every mom, and I watched that movie with my mom, and it's just like my mom was on her mom's side, and I was on like Lady Bird's side, and it's just like
Yeah.
the relationship between the mom and Lady
It's
Bird is so
funny.
beautiful.
Like, I didn't really enjoy the movie, but like the way that like you would be talking to your mom and then like suddenly you're fighting about something and then it's just
Yeah.
back to normal. It's
Yeah.
just like, so funny.
Yeah.
They did
like
that really well.
especially what like wrapping back what Hiro said, like it is the hardest part of our jobs, like making sure that these characters, no matter if you're trying to make a movie that's fantastical or a movie that's realistic, like you still have to make these characters feel human, like to make people, the audience, feel something. And like
Even if that character isn't human, make that character feel alive and like
Give them
like
life.
give them weight in the situation. Like your character needs to feel like what they do is what they breathe for. What they say is like they're like that's every breath in a movie needs to have a purpose.
So on the list,
and it's incredibly difficult to do that, especially when you're trying to go and like think
So
back
hard.
at what every character's saying and why they're saying it, like what's their ambition.
What's
And-
the root? And like that's weird to think about too with like when you think about your own life. Like why do I do what I do and why do I say what I say when I say it? It all comes back. So you need to build that for your character from the get-go so that they feel real.
Because we're on the topic of just like realism and stuff like that, I want to bring up the movie Her.
Okay,
of
haven't seen
Joaquin
it.
Phoenix.
Wait,
I think we should.
before we
Is
do
that-
her
Before
though,
we do that,
where's Lady Bird go?
Oh yeah,
I was
where's
gonna
Does
say,
Lady
like,
Bird go?
Lady
Is that
Bird
on the
or
list?
Frances Ha, like,
I think
Okay, we haven't talked about Frances Ha, so let's go.
Can we
Lady
like
Bird
has
can we
first.
everyone-
put like
everyone here seen
a
Frances Ha?
thing where we like since they're very like kind of similar in aspect, we can like slash down the middle, be like this and this for 5 because they're like the same thing. They're just opposite.
Which one?
Lady Bird and Boyhood.
oh boy.
Oh, Boyhood.
Yeah,
I think they're two separate.
They're two.
Lady
They're
Bird
very
and
different.
Frances Ha,
They're
I
really
think, are
different.
more similar
I've
than-
I've not seen either, so I'm just gauging
That was
the room.
No, that's a good
No, yeah.
idea, but
That
I
is a
think
good idea.
they're two different. There's some that are similar enough, I think, to do that, but Lady Bird and Boyhood specifically are
Okay.
two separate.
I
I
have a
think.
Got it.
question though, however, because we do have a limited amount of space on that list, do you think there's an argument to be had for replacing Boyhood with Lady Bird?
Oh, that is a good point.
As the, like...
number 5.
I will
number-
kill myself if you do that.
as
I don't think
number
we should
5.
replace it yet because we haven't.
No, like I
don't
will
have
say
so
no, what Ben said, like Boyhood is cinematic
Alright.
history, and
We
like,
only have 2 so far. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We don't have to replacing
Let's just
anything.
put Lady Bird at 6 then, and
Alright.
come back to it later.
Okay, sure. I guess it can't be number
Alright.
one.
Oh,
okay, no,
dang.
6 is fine
It's
with
not
me.
on my list. So
Okay,
I'm not
Okay,
gonna
yeah, no,
nominate
it's not.
it.
It's. I don't think it's on anyone's
Do we
else's
feel
list.
like
I'm.
it's
I'm happy
6?
with 6.
Do we
I would
feel
say
like-
That's
4.
okay.
I'm not gonna.
I would say 4 too, dude. I'd say 1, but
Let's put it at 6 for now.
It could be in the top 5.
Yeah.
Go for it. I don't know.
think it's
I don't
in the
really
top
know what we're
5,
talking
so
about.
That's
now
cool.
I kind of zoned out for a
Alright.
second.
Add 6
Reserved
because that's what
slightly.
was said first.
Okay.
sorry, Greta Gerwig.
It's like the
We're
week
gonna-
before
Sorry,
exams, and I'm
Sorry, Saoirse.
exhausted.
Sorry, Greta Gerwig. Sorry, Timothy Chalamet. I tried my best. Acting like they're listening.
Maybe they are. You don't know.
Yeah, no.
All right. Anybody
Alright, I
got
just wanna
like a
bring
next?
up her.
I want to hear Gigi talk because none of Gigi.
Oh yeah, you know what, Gigi.
Oh yeah, Gigi.
Do we
Let's
wanna
go.
listen
Give
to
us
my
one of your shit
apparently
Pitch us a
movies.
horrible
movie.
list?
Pitch us a movie.
It's just a wait. What?
No, like you
Just
I
pick one
will
off your
say-
list.
movie for a number.
Pick a movie from my list.
Yeah. Like
Well,
I think
stall
okay.
them.
I think
Oh.
my number one personally is Kingsman. I just as an audience standpoint, like that's you guys have seen that, yes? No?
Yeah, I've seen
I've
it.
seen Kingsman.
Okay.
I wasn't impressed, to be honest.
I was
Okay.
impressed.
Yeah.
I thought
I
like-
definitely was impressed. Like,
I thought the
director-
maneuvering for the like editing of fight scenes and stuff like that, like I thought that was so
I know, but
fluid
scene director.
because a lot of it is edited, and usually you can like tell with movies like that. It's like, well, yeah, you can tell, but they make it in a way where it's like, oh yeah, it's obviously edited, but it's like really funny the
edited
way it
very
is.
well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually,
just-
really,
I-
I think
what-
I liked that a lot when it came. I think I was like,
While we're discussing
Right,
like Kingsman and
because
stuff
they
like that.
not only did they like just edit it, but they also had like a drone just like going through them as they're doing that like scene. That's just
Are
interesting.
you talking about
To,
the church scene?
well, yeah, that scene and like a lot of that was edited for sure, but they did have like
Well,
fight
they-
scenes, like even in like Kingsman 2.
Well, like, yes.
Yeah.
It's all edited.
Even in like Kingsman 2 though,
CGI,
like
you know.
in like the bar fights and all that stuff,
Right.
it's like the same
Like,
thing.
Can I
Right.
speak on it
was
real
good.
quick? Because I
I just want to like say something about Matthew Vaughn.
Wait,
do that.
Okay.
who is that?
Matthew
He's the
Vaughn is
director.
the director
Yep.
of Kingsman, and
Oh,
I feel
okay.
like I don't particularly think Kingsman should be on the list, but Matthew Vaughn as a director, like he is the best director of comic book adaptations. Period. Like
No, I
there's, like,
agree.
Period.
I agree.
period,
Like
period.
there's-
With the T
That's
at
like
the end.
that's almost an ellipses if you just
I'm
add
gonna
one
go
more
ahead.
period.
I'm just like
I hate you.
I feel like I have to agree with Michael because when
Like
I
Kick-Ass
when
is-
I saw Kick-Ass, exactly, like when I saw Kingsman, I knew that they had successfully revitalized the espionage genre in a new way. Like that movie, I do not believe it should be in the top 10 list at all.
It's fine.
But
None
I
of you
am
believe
gonna
any
say-
of my movies should
I
even
think Frozen
exist.
should
So
be in the top 10.
I am gonna
Thank
say
you.
that movie kicks
No,
ass.
no,
Like,
No, no,
Oh no,
no.
Kingsman
as a
no.
movie is really good.
I really liked Frozen. It was really pretty.
Adele.
that's the reason.
So-
The only reason
It
is
wasn't pretty.
gorgeous.
Damn, Ben, it wasn't
I thought it was
pretty.
good.
Like,
I thought it
okay,
was
you
pretty.
don't like
Yeah, it
artsy
was, it
fartsy
was.
movies, but if it looks
did-
pretty, I guess.
Okay,
Oh,
Disney
yeah,
versus
Oh,
like.
it looks pretty.
Okay,
Just
Lobster is
pretty.
about whatever the lobster, whatever. It's
Lobster
about
looks
an
beautiful.
existential
Lobster's
crisis.
beautiful with beautiful characters.
No, we're not talking
Wait,
about
it's
We're
that.
not
about
talking
a
about the
beautiful
lobster.
adventure.
Each other, we're wiling out.
Keep pitching.
Keep pitching what? Movies?
Kingsman.
Frozen. Frozen is on my
I
list.
just
Okay,
wanna
Frozen
say-
is not on my list.
I
Frozen
think
is
like
not on my
okay,
list.
I like Frozen because
But look at the impact
You'll get
too.
me dead.
All right, let's
before.
not talk over each other about
Yeah, yeah.
Frozen. Especially.
There's like
not
an
waste our time on
impact.
If we get
Frozen.
into a
Let it
fight
go.
about
Yeah.
Frozen, I'm gonna get
Yeah.
it's a
Exactly.
Sorry.
And you see
It
how
is-
like the franchise, like Disney franchises, have changed so
I
much
don't care
because of
about
Frozen.
Disney. I don't care about how much money they make. I
It
don't care
has
about
nothing
how
to
they
do
make
with
their money.
It has
I don't
nothing
care
to
about
do
where
with
they
that.
put their money.
It has
All
to
I
do with
care
how
about-
much Frozen impacted
Oh.
Except if we
society
get
as
Frozen,
a whole.
we love Disney.
fucking
we
garbage
love Disney.
for
Wait,
everything
sponsored.
other than being an
Hopefully.
animated.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
love
We're
Disney.
trying to be
We love
sponsored by
Disney.
Disney, and you're like just ripping that
I love
out.
Walt Disney's Frozen
that
head.
5,000 you wanted,
I love-
gone.
Frozen
That's what
is
Frozen is about,
is
right?
a
Yeah,
is a
Frozen. Walt Disney, Frozen.
Frozen as a movie that is animated and has character development and has beautiful sequences and has, I think, realistic stories about humanity and like all this stuff. It's
Apparently.
good. It's decent. It's
Talking about Frozen?
It's a
Yeah.
well done story that's well animated, that has believable characters and has a story that I don't mind watching. And it's good. It is not in the top 10 list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two reasons I hate Frozen. Number one, all the little kids singing the damn songs. Number two,
That's nothing against
okay.
the
Okay, listen to my number
movie.
two. Listen to my number two. That dude who turned out to be evil in the end. Sorry for the spoiler.
Oh, the sandwiches, dude.
That dude that turned out to be evil at the end. As soon as he appeared on screen, I was like, that dude's evil.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so
easy.
filmmakers.
But that's-
but
We
that's-
all
that's
do
the thing,
because
though.
we know
It's a
what
kid's
the
movie.
it's
Yeah,
a-
that's a kid's
Like,
movie.
what
That's
they're
my
gonna do,
argument.
not
That's
have a
why it's not on my
villain?
worst list, is because it's a kid's
Okay,
movie.
okay.
I just
Wait,
want to point
wait,
out how
wait,
funny
wait.
it is that Ben talks the same way about Frozen that Maya talks about Lost.
That's true.
Wait, okay.
but can we talk about it's a kids movie.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's the.
Children's
Hey, but
movie.
It's meant to appeal to a younger
I don't
audience.
feel like we should justify the movie just because it's
No, I
made
don't
for
think
kids.
so.
No,
I think it is one of the
that just
better
helps
children's
describe
You know
it.
why?
That
You know
doesn't
why?
matter.
I'm gonna bring it up.
Do it.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's a kids movie, made for kids, made for everybody, and that
That
movie's
wasn't
great.
made for
It's written
kids.
That's
correctly.
true.
Was it
They
made
went
for
in.
kids
That's
though,
true.
or
Yeah.
an
Okay, I
older,
take it back.
somewhat
It's in, thank you,
audience?
Monica, for
Okay,
the reminder.
32
We're
minutes.
a minute.
We
We're at
actually
32
need to
minutes.
move
Thank
this
you,
along.
Monica.
I
Okay.
do
I'm
not
gonna-
think that Frozen is
Frozen
going
It's
does
not
not
on
go
the
on the
list.
list.
Okay,
It's
let's
not
calm
on
down
the
about
list.
Frozen. Let's calm down about Frozen.
Sorry.
I want to keep out like,
What?
but really though,
Adele
Adele
doesn't.
Dazeem. Adele Dazeem.
Dazeem.
I
Idina
mean,
Menzel, Kristen Bell, like yeah, that's who's in the movie.
I do want to keep discussing about Spider-Man to Spider-Verse because
Okay, yeah.
That's not on the top
like
10.
I know
I wouldn't mind if it were, honestly.
It's good, but it's not
No, no, no,
that
I-
good. and I'm actually
I
a
am
Marvel
literally
fan.
dumbfounded. But
We're having
Gigi
way
said.
too much like coming at each other for things that we don't need to be. We need to be progressing the conversation.
Okay,
forward,
sorry.
And there's too much chatter.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Papa. Okay, where's
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Where's Frozen
Our
going on the
podcast
list?
about
Frozen's
talking
on the
about
list.
movies
No, it's not,
is
dude.
too
We've
much
established it's not on the
talking.
list.
Not
Can, yeah, can we put it in the 10
Not
spot,
10.
and then if there's
We can
something
place
that
it
we
there,
can
yeah,
not
but we're
place
gonna take it
yeah,
off.
if there's
It's like,
anything
yeah.
that
Boot
can
that
knock it
shit.
off, we'll talk about it.
We
But
can
like,
leave it there for fun.
until now, it's on
Into the
10.
Spider-Verse?
Yes, Into the Spider.
Okay, wait, wait.
Spider-Verse-
Let's calm down. Frozen is number 10, right?
Yes, for
As
now.
of right
For
now.
now.
Unless we replace it.
Unless yes.
What?
No?
I
What-
don't.
See,
When
this
did
is
this
why we need to
happen?
This
listen to each
happened
other.
just 10 seconds
I
ago
don't
while
think
you
you should be
two
on
were
the list at all.
chattering over there.
I don't think so either.
10
I
until
think
something
we'll
knocks it off.
We'll probably move it until something knocks it off.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Whatever.
Okay.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care because it's leaving.
I think that Into the Spider-Verse should replace Frozen.
Okay,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
quick.
No, yeah.
Sorry, Gigi.
Wait. What,
Replace
do,
it.
Why are you
what
taking
places
away?
do we have already?
Why are you
have
worried
five,
about it
six,
right now?
Why are you worried
No,
about
I'm
that?
just wondering what places we have right now, so I know what numbers are filled in, so we
can
could just
5, 6, and 7. Boyhood, Lady
5, 6, and 7.
Monster,
And
So why don't
10
we
right
put it
now.
into the Spider-Verse at 9?
Because Into the Spider-Verse takes the 10 spot and doesn't belong anywhere else on the list.
Exactly.
No. I really want to emphasize the point that there hasn't been a movie like the animation in
The animation
Spider-Man
is
Into
beautiful.
The Spider-Verse
You're
is
No, that's true. That's why it's at
Stellar.
9. Because it's
Okay,
better than Frozen from your point of view.
I just want to discuss really quick Sony Animation and just like Sony Pictures in general. Like they are a studio that just like constantly shit out movies, and it's not like to say anything. It's just like the formatting of their business is to shit out movies for
That's
everybody to
facts.
watch. The grown-ups too, whatever.
Oof.
Okay,
That's, yeah.
but just to say that, like the creativity that came from that studio, like they were given, it was a 1 in a million chance that movie was gonna consider like correct. And it's for me personally, it's at my number 1.
Yeah, see,
Okay.
It's at my number 1 because for this entire decade since I've gone to see movies, I haven't
Number
entered
1.
into the movie theater and then gone out with my like mouth open. I was literally dumbfounded when I came in because that animation was stellar. The performances were amazing. And
I'm
So
Michael
then we
loves
put it
comic
at
books.
9, and then
I'm
when we
gonna
find a
agree
better
with
one,
you
we'll
on
knock it
every
down.
point other than it being number 1. I agree that it is a masterclass in animation. I'd also like to bring up the point that there's a difference between having diversity in live action film and having diversity in animation. Having diversity in
what do you mean?
the power that animation has in our culture and in our world and in our youth.
Are you
Are
are you talking about the main character?
I'm saying characters.
Should make
in-
more.
Yeah.
Having characters.
No, we're talking about Peter Parker.
No, I see what he means though.
Having multiple.
It's a kids movie and it's made for kids and like they see animated movies kind of first and to not even see like someone of your color in an animated movie like that's kind of
There's
wild.
very few people of color in animated film, even in
Oh,
2019.
okay. Yeah, I understand what you're
Because
saying.
and
all
to
you have to do is
have-
paint the character a different color. Like that's
Well,
so easy.
And to have
Well,
That's
Wait, no, never mind.
I don't
I'll
think
leave
that's
now.
how it
I'll leave
works,
now.
man.
I don't think that's
the
it.
difference is that having a family of color portrayed in a superhero family role
Yeah.
on the big screen in the way that they did with the powerful story that they did and all of it and making those characters like the fact that his uncle is one of the villains but isn't actually the villain it just rewrites that multi-villain multi-charactered everybody having weight on everybody else and like Spider-Man really has always felt like a family story of people relying on each other and saving each other and I just think like yes, it belongs in the top 10. Where it belongs in the top 10 is not necessarily up to me, but it is definitely in there. Like
It should
that
be
movie
in
there.
is
No.
fantastic.
It should,
should end the whole
it should
game
be
off.
there, but like let's keep it at 9 since you consider it better than
we
Frozen.
should
And
put
then
it at
if we
4.
knock down,
Monica is
I
so
guess-
pissed that's at number 9, by the way.
Yeah.
I think we should
oh,
put it
I'm
at
sorry.
4.
I mean, like I don't.
I personally
What?
think
What
that
do
we
you
should
want it
put
to
it at
be
number
at?
4.
I think we should put it at 4. I think it
4?
belongs at 4.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I like that.
I like
Put it
that
at
shit.
4.
I don't really
Well,
It went. It jumped from 10 to 4. That was nice.
It jumped from 9 to 4.
See, there you go. And then
Okay.
I'm happy because Frozen's still on the list, and you're happy because
Honestly-
Into the Spider-Verse
Where
is
do you
higher up
put
on
I
the
just
list.
don't-
Because I feel like Get Out is like one of the best.
That's
Out's
also
not
a
a 3.
movie I haven't
Get
watched.
Out
It's
was
on
a
my list. though.
generational
Three.
great.
I'm
of
down
all
with Get Out
time.
at 3. I feel like everyone's just like Get Out
Get
at
Out
3.
at
Get
3
Out
is
is
like
at 3.
Get Out.
really-
Can we just agree on that? Get Out 3.
We
Get
just
Out 3 is
did.
easy for me.
We don't even
Like-
need to
Can we
explain
put it at
why
11?
it's at
Like
3.
Get Out. Come on,
Okay,
bro.
11.
Get Out is fantastic.
You're
And
racist.
stay
No,
out.
I'm kidding.
Yo, whoa, whoa.
That's not how that yet.
Anti-black.
No,
Hasn't
I
got
feel
out
like
yet.
I saw an interview with Jordan Peele, the creator of Get Out, and no, he wasn't in it, but there were just these dudes that were talking about Get Out, and I feel like they said something that really stuck with me about this movie. That's like nobody has ever made a movie like this, and if this movie hadn't been made, there probably wasn't going to be a movie made like this, or just the same plot.
There was
Like
Tyrell,
the
but
creativity.
it wasn't as good.
What?
There was Tyrell, but it wasn't as good.
What is that?
Bro, Tyrell had Michael Cera. That's the only reason.
Maya talking about Michael
All right,
Cera.
I'm sick
figured.
of this. I don't want to talk about Michael Cera anymore. If we
It
all,
was basically the same thing though. It was just not like the same. It was like black dude with like surrounded by mostly white people in like the woods, feeling really uneasy. But in like Get Out was more of a thriller, and like Tyrell was like psychological. Like he felt like something bad was gonna happen, but like
It didn't.
really didn't.
Oh, interesting.
It was interesting, but
I want to
That
nominate.
sounds like kind of a good movie.
I would like, looking at the list now, I would like to nominate, instead of having Lady Bird at 6, I'd like to shift them all up one. So
Okay.
Lady Bird goes to 7.
Wait,
but-
what?
Wait, what?
one
They would
down.
shift all of them?
Yeah, no, just from Lady Bird to free up 6. So Lady Bird goes to 7. The
Wait.
The Lobster
No,
goes to
okay.
8, and I want to put
That's fine.
Baby Driver at 6.
Aw,
Nah.
nah, get out of
No.
here. Get
Wait a minute.
out.
Hold on. Wait. I
Hold
thought
on,
I
hold on.
thought
I
the
need
lobster.
to-
All right.
I need to argue for Baby
Wait.
Driver.
Where was
Argue
Lady
for
Bird? I
Baby
thought it was
Driver.
at 5.
Monica,
No.
what minute are we on?
40.
Alright,
We're
40.
good.
Alright.
Why Baby Driver? I didn't like
Okay,
that
Baby
movie.
Driver, I guess it
go
could go
over, it's
8 for
unfocused.
me. It could go 8 for me, but I think it's up at 6. Baby Driver is taking everything that we have learned in the last 100 years of the way that when you mix good musical and good audio engineering with tight music and like action that is not too much action but enough action to keep your heart rate up and to keep you engaged and like happy. I smiled through the entirety of Baby Driver. The soundtrack never gets old. The
He just
character
drove really fast.
the character never,
He just drove
but
fast. He didn't even
incredibly
talk.
skilled, and he's stone cold while he's doing it, and you can tell that he lives in his own head, and they portray that kind of like personality of like, my mother's like that, like in her own head, get it all done, get the food on the table, figure out the life, and then you can speak, and then you can have your fun, and then you can like laugh. And you know, I liked the way that it took the life of somebody who's struggling and in the life of crime, and they made it feel like that was the only thing that mattered at all, was just like, I am the getaway driver. This is the movie about the getaway driver. This is how we make the movie about the getaway driver the best way we possibly can. This is how we make it flashy. It's directed by Edgar Wright. The introduction to the movie is fantastic. It's just one shot, and he walks down a street, gets some coffee, and then walks back up the street, and the whole time he's dancing, and the credits are like written on the walls behind him, and he interacts so naturally with the people around him. Like, he like checks out this girl who's like really cute and like gets out of the way of this old guy to be really respectful because he gets distracted by this girl. Like, it just flows really naturally.
I have never remembered a movie as well as you
this
do.
if
And the
if
music
we,
is,
yeah.
like,
if this
so
list
good.
were if this, I know you remember movies well, but
I
if this were
remember
if
everything
this
really well.
list
It's
were
really
like
good.
on sound design and editing, I would say it's
It's on movie
up there.
itself,
but
and as a movie,
yeah, and I'm saying as a movie
a
itself,
No, it's
I'm
like
gonna
as
put
a-
it down.
yeah, as a package.
Okay, we can put Baby Driver at 8
I would say that.
now.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay.
I wanna. Well,
It was an enjoyable movie.
while
It was
we're
synced to the
on there,
music.
I want to do a proposition for number 9.
Okay.
I want to say Whiplash.
Oh, dude, that was almost my
I
line.
don't-
I'm down with that.
I almost had Whiplash on mine. I'm okay with that. I think it's really
I
Good
personally
performances.
feel like it's the best performance of J.K. Simmons and Ted, what is his name?
Damdel,
Yeah, if you want-
Darby,
Ted, Miles.
Tingus.
What is his name?
Miles
Whoa.
Let me check it out.
It's Miles Fletcher.
I'm butchering this. Is it
Miles
Miles
Teller.
Miles
Miles
Teller.
Teller.
Miles Teller.
That's what it is.
I personally think those two actors, the pinnacle of their career is gonna be that movie.
That kind of
Okay, yeah.
That movie
Oh, yeah.
is so human.
It
in the
is,
way that
it
he
is, it
corrects,
is, it
and
is.
It really leaves the audience with the
dumbfounded and in shock.
yeah, like the way that the movie presents itself and the characters are like the actor J.K. Simmons. He is so vitriolic as like a character, and he builds himself so well, but you
He does.
clearly understand his ambition and what he's trying to do. It's like, it's so impressive, and it's like the pinnacle of his performance, and it's just has to be on that list.
has-
I
yeah,
don't care
no.
about anything.
I agree, and I'd just like to follow that up by saying like there is a genre of movie which is build your character until your character snaps in half, and then look at what happens once they've snapped in half. And I would just like to say, as a filmmaker, that is my fucking favorite.
Hiro
way
is very eloquent.
Yeah.
Very.
The when you watch a character build and build and build and build and build until they think they're on top of the world, and then have them get shot in the back and fall out of frame.
You know, I think I actually like
And
this
it's-
list because like we have like
It's good.
Baby
It's very
Driver
diverse.
because of sound, and we have
It's a nice diverse
The
list.
Lobster because of whatever.
And we have Into the Spider-Verse because it's
just
better
like-
than Black Panther.
Like Whiplash.
facts.
Whiplash is
Bro.
suspense. Whiplash is intensity at its pinnacle in cinema.
It is very intense, and I like that it's intense and not as like a actiony sports movie.
And
it's
yeah.
him being a drummer, which is
It is
it's
him
amazing.
losing his mind.
very
Yes,
intense.
yes,
And it's like-
yes.
As someone who learned the drums as a
somebody,
boy,
as somebody who just
good.
like has ambition in whatever
Has a dream,
field, or
yeah.
like has a
Yeah.
dream and like wishes to accomplish that before anything else. And like the way that the movie plays out, like the movie's called Whiplash. He gets actual whiplash
Yeah.
in the movie, and then he still makes it out from after the accident to try
What are
and
we, a
make it to
Suicide
the
Squad?
gig. And they try
What is
to
this,
try
a
and make it to the
Suicide
gig. Like that's just impressive. Like the way that it's written.
I think
And yeah, but like number 9,
that's
Whiplash.
fine. I want to put Grand Budapest.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say that.
I was just
gonna
thinking
say
of
that.
Grand Budapest Hotel.
I was looking at it on my phone. I was like, we have to put this.
I was
shit on.
looking at mine.
I don't know where to put it though.
I think
One.
Grand Budapest
One.
Hotel can
Uno.
replace.
1 and 2 is open, and like
I have a proposition for number 2.
I can. Who's against Grand Budapest for number 1?
I'm not.
I am
Why?
because
Why?
What do you want for number
Why?
1?
Because I think, well, here's what I have for number 1 and number 2. For number 1, I have Moonlight, and for number 2, I have Interstellar.
I'll argue against both of those.
You can argue against
Moonlight
both of them,
has Monet at the
but
best.
let me say what I'm going to say first, because they're only in those 2 spots because they have to be right now. I think that we should move Whiplash to number 10. We should move hear me out. If we move Whiplash to number 10, we move Baby Driver to number 7, we move The Lobster to number 9, or number 8, and then we move
Don't move, Lady Bird.
oh no, we move
Lady
we
Bird
move,
is 6,
We
like,
move
it's a
Lobster
solid
to number
6.
9, and then we put Grand Budapest Hotel at 7.
7.
Wrong,
no,
wrong,
no,
wrong,
no.
wrong,
Top
wrong,
3.
wrong.
Top 3.
I want Grand Budapest
wrong.
in the top 5.
Okay, if Grand Budapest Hotel is number
I
2.
can move Into the Spider-Verse to like 2.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I can do
I'm
that.
absolutely
That
positively
makes
good with
sense.
that.
I'm fine with if we move Into the Spider-Verse to 2, and then we put Grand Budapest Hotel at 4, and then we put.
What is with you in Why do you hate that movie?
I
Why do you
don't
hate Wes
hate it at
Anderson?
all. I
Why do you
don't
want
hate
Wes
it at all.
Anderson?
Why do you want Wes Anderson to die?
I don't. I love Wes Anderson.
I'm kidding.
I have way more love in my heart for Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
That's
I
who
mean,
I am as a filmmaker. That's
Me
how
too.
I feel.
Okay, me too. But okay, let me say, Grand Budapest. There has not been a movie in the last 10 years, maybe more, that was more beautiful
It was
than
so
Grand
beautiful.
Budapest
I agree.
Hotel.
and
Man.
the characters. I love it. I love
And
it.
the
I love
characters.
it.
It's.
That's the type of movie I want to make personally.
It's
So
real.
I hear you.
Yeah, no, straight up.
I think that if we put Grand Budapest at 4, we move Get Out and Into the Spider-Verse up, and then we put.
Grand Budapest is now at 4.
If we put Baby Driver at 10, and then put Interstellar at 8.
Gigi has lost all interest since we started talking about
No,
Frozen.
no, no. I'm like really sick right now, so I'm like trying to. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm like
okay.
very low
Okay, I guess-
energy.
I guess
the
now
Frozen
I'm-
debate was
I'm
like the
pitching
last of my
Interstellar.
caffeine working.
Does Interstellar belong in the top
Haven't
10?
seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Is
Personally,
it Timothy Chalamet in it though? So I mean, it's
No,
have a
he's
top
not.
10.
It's not.
Is
Wait,
it?
what? Wait,
Yes, he is.
What are we talking about?
I
Yes, he
have.
is.
What movie are we talking about?
Interstellar.
Okay,
Alright,
wait. Should we
Interstellar.
talk about Moonlight first? I feel like we should.
I feel like we should all address the elephant in the room, which is Monica. How are you on time?
Oh yeah.
47 minutes.
All right, and
I feel like if we go a little
we have
over
good
an
time.
hour.
A little
I
over.
feel
It's
like
Whatever.
no,
Timothy
no,
Chalamet
yeah, it's
is
fine. I
in
just wanna check.
Interstellar. He
But
plays
at the same time,
Tom.
but like right now, the elephant in the room is we only have one spot left on this list, which is the number 1 spot,
What?
and I feel like everybody's gonna go for something different.
I'm feeling Wolf.
Ooh,
Wolf
wait,
of Wall
hold on.
Street?
Wolf of Wall Street, I think,
No.
is in the.
Is everything
So
else
how
locked
has
in?
Call Me by Your Name not even made the
sorry.
list?
Wolf of Wall Street is in
Oh.
the
How
top
was Once
10.
Upon a Time in Hollywood not even
It's
made
too
the list?
many indie
Hold on.
movies.
We
that are
need
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
we need to revitalize the whole list because there are things that are in the wrong spot. Number 1,
Wait.
Frozen.
Wait, where's Frozen right
I
now?
used to
number
last
two,
with my
okay.
caffeine
So
to
here's what I'm
argue this.
saying,
I'm just
we put Baby
bye.
Driver at 10.
Okay, I'm down.
Because I felt like
Frozen
Baby
10.
Driver was the one that everybody had the least, you know, like it should definitely be.
It should be there, but
it put it at 10. If we put Baby Driver at 10, that frees up 8. If we put The Lobster at 8, that frees up 7. If we put
I can't visualize this at all.
I can't
but
either.
I'm listening. I'm
That's
with
fine.
you.
I'm listening.
If we put The Lobster at 8, tell me. Let me see.
I
What
think
that
that's too much. That's too much logistics.
I think it's really nitpicky. But
Yeah, it's just
I
like
think we
trying
can
to
bump
rearrange
things,
it.
but I don't know.
I know what I don't think like I feel like we have to like make do with the space we have. I feel like what we should discuss is number 1
What
because
should
I feel
go
like
number
I think it's Moonlight.
everybody has a different number 1 probably.
No, actually, it's La La Land.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Moonlight is my
I
pick
think
for number
Moonlight is a really good movie and it's shot really well, but I feel like I don't feel as strongly about it.
Don't feel strongly about it.
I like the movie. I'll see it. I'll watch it again.
Can anyone tell me if they agree with me on this? Hold on, I'm just gonna. Moonlight. Okay, I
also
moved the
think
mic
Mad
closer
Max
to my
Fury
mouth.
Road should be on this list, but that's a whole
Let's
different.
talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, Moonlight. First of all, I didn't believe the mom character.
Did not believe the mom
That was one of my
character,
biggest issues with the movie. The whole
Nah,
time,
she was
didn't
fucking
believe her.
crackhead, and all of a sudden she was like,
I'm sorry. Like it should have been harder for her to say I'm sorry. It should have been like I don't know. She should have been like even though she was a crackhead, like even crackheads have their moments of lucidity and looking through it and being like, oh my god, I'm ruining everything, and then they go right back to the crack. And I feel like that wasn't there. It was just like my mom's a crackhead. Like it was just so like
I think that-
black and white. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing, just this is kind of nitpicky, but her accent terrible. I didn't like her accent. Like
she's British.
that showed. I could tell she's not Southern. Like
She's not Southern.
it was terrible. Like she was like,
played it- she was
"Baby,
in,
honey, child, please come now into the house now." I'm like, what? Like, what is
I
this
don't
dialogue?
think it's worth it to
Great script
dig that
writing right
deep
there.
I think it's
into-
worth it because it's if you're gonna make a movie about like black people, I think it's kind of important because they skate over details all the time.
Isn't Barry Jenkins black though?
Huh?
Isn't Barry Jenkins black?
No, but at the same time, it's like this
I'ma
is,
let the
we're
black
talking
people in
about
the
the
room talk
best
about this
movies of the entire decade of these last 10 years. Like
I think Moonlight was a
feel like
really
what we should do is be
significant
nitpicky
movie.
about these things.
I think it was a
Especially when we're talking about the number 1 spot.
No,
Okay,
I just
yeah.
think like
I think it was a really culturally significant movie, but I don't think necessarily it's like the best movie of like the 10s.
Okay, here's one thing I want to ask. Like, I mean, this might be kind of like awkward, but like, so I was talking to someone about Moonlight, and he was like, I was telling him like, okay, like the fight scene, like I didn't believe that either because they were like hit him again. That's just like, yeah, I was talking to you, and I was talking to someone else about it. I was talking to Troy about it.
I didn't believe that shit either, bro.
Right. Okay. So here's something that I was talking to our friend Troy about it. A few of us know him. He's
Troy
also a
here,
film
the
major. Yes. He was telling me. I told him that I didn't believe the fight scene, and he was like, "Okay, well, you don't get it. Like at a black school, it's different. Okay." So I couldn't say anything to that, but I'm like, I just feel like that scene was wrong. Like it rubbed me the wrong way. Like, cause I went to school, you know.
It's the same way people in the States perceived the movie Roma to be boring. Because I understand that perspective clearly, but that's been the most accurate movie of Latin American culture that I've seen to this day.
Roma was beautiful. It almost made
Roma
me
DJ said the same thing.
I would say like
I think
okay,
Roma should be on the
Moonlight
list.
wasn't boring.
Roma could be on the list. I would not be mad.
Roma needs to be on this list if Frozen is going to even be thought about being.
Oh
on
yeah.
this list
Oh yeah.
forever.
For
Good
sure.
point, good point.
Yes.
I,
yes.
Hold on, let's finish talking about Moonlight.
I was gonna.
Because Maya had something
we're
to
not
say.
finished talking about Moonlight.
All right,
Maya had something to say.
Cause okay, I feel like what the fuck was we talking about? Oh, what were we talking about? Oh, okay.
Moonlight, was it
Moonlight
accurate?
wasn't like super accurate. Like I like the movie. Like I like movies that like look good and like kind of have this like they like roll nicely. Like I don't know. Like it's like fun to watch it and like you want to keep watching it even if like not a lot's happening. And like I really liked Mashallah Ali's character. And I liked the main boy, and I liked the relationship that he had with his friend, and that carried most of the movie. I really also liked the like DL character, like the dude with the braids. Like he was a bully, but he was like clearly gay as shit. Like I liked that.
That's the
It was
that's
really-
why I like the movie.
It was really accurate as far as like, you know, like homosexuality and like you know how black people interact in that type of way. Like, you know, you have like characters who, like, especially in that sort of like environment, like you have characters who, or you have people who like feel like, you know, they can't be themselves, so they're bullies, and that they're hiding it, they're DL, because it's like, you know, there's a lot of stigma around that in our community. And I really liked how everything was portrayed, but I don't think everything was perfect. Like, I think a lot of times, like, movies like that, like, you dramatize something, and then I feel like sometimes you shouldn't dramatize it, because then it, like, kind of so, like, the mom, like, kind of, like, pulled me out of that for a second, because I was like, hold up.
Right. Yeah, I think was my issue. And I can't speak to, like, but I understand the level of, like, feeling valid, like, watching that movie as a black person and being like, wow, this actually is what we feel like. And it's not entirely accurate, but it's
valid.
like,
as a black person watching it was valid.
Yeah, and it feels like
as a filmmaker, sometimes I was like,
right.
Right,
Yeah,
let
see,
me
that's the
respond
thing,
real
is
quick,
if it
'cause
pulls
I
you
am
out, it pulls you out.
Like, I think your critiques are valid in the fact that when we are trying to create a movie, we're trying to create a movie that allows us to suspend our disbelief to the fullest extent possible.
Yeah.
And if you're not capable of doing that in a movie, it is going to take it out.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, take you out of the movie.
Yeah.
But I think that the most important thing about Moonlight and about any movie and about, like, whatever, it's like, yes, maybe if you go into that movie, like, I'm a white man, so I can't go into that movie and, like, be like, oh yeah, now I, like, understand what it's like to be a black person.
Yeah.
And black people can't go into the theater and be like, all right, yes, like, these things were, like, correct and these things were not correct. It's like they were telling a story about one gay black man who had
not all of them. Yeah, not all of them.
Story,
Yeah.
And he had one mother and he had one lover. And that scene in the end of the movie where his lover walks into the diner and he doesn't say a word, barely.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
I really like that scene.
he's asking him, why are you still here? Why are you in this diner? Why haven't you run into the sunset and become something with yourself? And he doesn't have anything to say to that. Mm. You as the audience don't need a response. You know exactly why he's still in that diner. Yeah. Because he's still stuck. And the movie showed you why he's stuck. And it shows you why we're all stuck. It's because we all came from one place and we are all one person and we are all right here. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think it's the greatest movie.
Good argument. I'm on your side now.
It tells one human story, and it tells a human story that nobody has wanted to hear ever in the history of humanity.
That's true.
Which is the story of the gay black man.
Yeah.
And, like, as somebody who's bisexual,
dark skin at that.
There are moments. There are moments in that movie that are so real, it's ridiculous. The moment where they, like, first interact on the beach. And they're alone. And
that scene was beautiful.
Yeah, that was a beautiful scene.
They can't even touch each other.
That was a beautiful scene.
Because of how much stigma there is and all of that. That's so real. It's like, and, like, I get what you're saying about the mother, but also, like, you have no idea what crack addiction's like.
I was thinking.
Her response to being addicted to crack, the way that different people have different responses. Her child and her own addiction and her own struggle with her own humanity and who she is in that moment.
Yeah, but
it's really hard to critique.
Yeah, because, like, it is hard to critique that, but I didn't believe it.
The same thing you just said about Moonlight can be said about Roma.
It can be said about anything.
But here's the thing, Jiro.
It's like you're trying to pitch the movie for, like, the best movie of the decade because it's telling a story. It is a very compelling story and is well told about one person in one place doing one thing, but at the same time, it's like. And that's a voice that hasn't been heard before. And Roma, it's the exact same thing. It's a Hispanic woman, like, that is a maid and that lives in the olden times in Mexico, that, like, nobody understands this perspective. And, like,
living in a white family's house.
Exactly. And, like, coming from this society, like, I can see clearly how this is from there. And I spoke with my mom, like, about this movie specifically, and it's like that is the most realistic depiction that's ever gonna be probably made about that time period in this specific region. Yeah. It's the exact same thing that can be said about Moonlight.
Well, hold on.
No, but that's not what movies are for. The movies are not for realism. The movies are for storytelling. Like, exactly. you have a movie in order to tell a story, and what you have to do is basically evaluate.
Smash the mic, bro. Hold on.
Hiro just almost killed me right there. Grabbing the mic.
Okay, wait.
What you have to do is basically say which movie had the better story of character, not just because of the historical influence or what story was told or what
Exactly.
story was
Okay.
hadn't been told.
So we're agreeing that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is number one.
No.
no, we don't.
No,
Wait, hold on. Okay.
I haven't seen
I want to
it,
respond to.
so
I want to respond to what both of you
I
said.
can't say anything.
I want to respond to what both of you said. Yes, Hero, you're right. I don't know what it's like to have a crack addiction or be around a crack addict, sort of. But white crack, I have seen that. But anyway, that's called meth. Anyway, but what we're talking about is different. The character, I don't have to, like, I also don't know what it's like to be a Hispanic maid cleaning up after a white family, okay? But I believed her character way more than I believed the mom's character, by a mile,
But they're
by
also
many
not,
miles.
like
Like,
they don't
more
have the
than
same
5 miles
position
at
in the
least.
story. Like the story's about the mother. The story isn't about the mother.
I think if we like
Yeah.
get stuck on this argument about like
I think that
movies
I feel like
that,
this is a good argument to end on. Like, this is the number one movie of the
Yeah.
decade, and
yeah.
both of these movies have very influential
I was gonna
stories,
say,
and we
well,
have to take
see,
it to.
I was gonna say like, you know, the slash shit that Gigi was talking about earlier.
Ooh.
They're kind of like they're
but
not
you
the
can't do
same
that for
movie.
number one.
Yeah, you can't do that for number one.
I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like you could because
What?
they're the same. It's the same sort of movie. It's a movie about like giving a voice to something that like people sweep under the rug. Or,
True.
Like, never
You know
heard
what
about,
movie? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Or don't care.
No,
to
but
hear.
it's okay. So that's the story aspect. That's like the bare bones.
Filmmaking wise, they're both shot beautifully.
I want to know.
But it's like
movie's
which,
better.
yeah, exactly. Which movie's better? Which movie
Roma.
had better
Actually, I haven't
direction
finished Roma,
in
so I
it?
And
can't say that.
the question that I
God,
want to
yeah.
ask, I guess, is if we are breaking down the best movie of the decade to be a movie about a human story that is told exceptionally both cinematically and in writing and in character performance, if that's what we've broken it down to be, then I believe it's between three movies. It comes down to Moonlight, it comes down to Roma, and it comes down to
Baby
The Wolf
Driver.
of Wall Street.
Frozen.
It comes down to Wolf of Wall Street. It comes down to Wolf of Wall Street. So I think we need to pick between Roma,
What about we
Moonlight.
take Frozen off the list?
What
put
about
that
Grown
as
Ups?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street isn't
What about
10.
Dumb and
Then we
Dumber
need to
2?
revitalize the whole thing.
Wolf of Wall Street is not 10.
Wolf of Wall Street can't be
No,
10.
no, Heroes-
Wolf of Wall
Heroes
Street
right.
beats out the top 7 at least.
Okay, Wolf of Wall Street.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. We haven't really even talked about Wolf of Wall Street.
That's
so
what I'm saying. I think Wolf of Wall
Wolf
Street
of Wall
could be number
Street.
1.
Okay, it's weird that you compared Moonlight, Roma, and
Yeah,
Wolf
no,
of
I
Wall
wasn't
Street.
expecting
let's
that
take a
one.
quick
Wolf of Wall
Monica,
Street-
what
Yeah,
how
wait,
are
I
we on
think
time?
if
we're like
talk-
over.
yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street is about a white
Yeah,
ass
we're like
dude.
over
Yeah,
time
let's go,
already.
Maya. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
White-ass
Preach,
dude.
Maya, let's
We're
go.
not putting this white ass dude as number one if we're talking
Well,
about
I said
Moonlight.
Moonlight.
Hold on.
and Roma.
I
Yeah.
wanted Moonlight to be number 1. Y'all are arguing that Moonlight isn't number 1. I still want Moonlight to be my number 1. I still think Moonlight's the
Well,
most
you
compelling
have
story of
swayed
the
me
decade.
with your argument.
Yeah,
Oh my
I kind of
God.
agree with. Well, I kind of agree with what you said about Moonlight. Still don't know if it's number 1, but Maya, what you were saying, yeah, like
I'm sorry.
what are we doing right now? I'm distracted now.
I'm sorry,
I think what
sorry.
Gigi said about like that, like
That's
slash
the
number
list.
1. and
Oh, that's the
have
list.
two.
Oh, that's the
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
I do believe we could do that, but at the
I
same
lost my
time,
train of thought completely.
I just
Go against the grain. You don't always have to do like, oh my gosh,
No,
they're
take
the number
Frozen.
1. You know what?
No, but
There's a
it's-
0.5 and a 0.5, and that makes a 1.
and it's no, it's that's not exactly what I mean. What I mean is,
I mean, I think we
it's
can
what-
bump
it's
everything
exhausted.
up
I'm
it's
down
like
like
one.
Jiro's
crazy
was saying,
right now, I'm
like
sorry.
which movie
Yeah.
has the most compelling story, it's shot better, and which movie just will have better influence throughout, like cinematic history.
Okay, I think. Okay,
I have a question.
Wolf of Wall Street, I feel like would be number 2, because Wolf of Wall Street is not same subject material.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, what I really want to know is what movie, when you saw it, because we all grew up in this decade. So
Yeah.
what movie, when you saw it, made you want to make movies more than anything else?
Honestly, mine was Avatar.
Inglourious Basterds.
Made you,
Which was not in
Made
this
you-
Mine was
decade.
Avatar. I was
Wait,
like
when
9
did that
years
come out?
old.
to make
It
movies.
was 2009.
Because for me, the movie
Too
that
early.
made me need to make movies was absolutely Good Will Hunting. We can't talk about
Oh, that is
we
such a
can't-
good
Okay.
movie.
we can't
Yeah,
talk
it's
about
not in
I
this
could go on
decade.
for hours
decade.
about it.
That has nothing to do with it.
I would
It's
say-
like, what movie broke your spine?
Of
when you saw it?
2010,
That was-
Budapest Hotel.
That was like the one thing I could agree with you on.
Grand Budapest Hotel. Grand Budapest
2010 to
Hotel.
2019, like for me, when I first saw Grand Budapest on a plane, I was like, first of all. And then,
Yeah.
because I love artsy ass shit. And then I
Facts.
saw Get Out, and I was like, I like Key and Peele, and I watched
Yeah.
Get Out, and I was like, oh, like I need to make movies.
Yeah.
Because that's actually why I changed my mind. Like I got this minor. So
Hmm.
for me, it's Get Out. But and then like hella good movies came out recently, so I just yeah.
Okay, yeah, for me, like that movie that you're talking about that just blew my mind and had to be like I just had to make movies in this decade. Grand Budapest Hotel for sure.
Where is it at?
For
right now on
sure.
the list?
For I'm
Deserves
not.
to be there.
I'm not too
Like,
mad at that.
I-
As long as it's top 5.
Like personally, the field I want to get into is writing and just be able to sell a compelling story, and especially through animation because that's like my calling. That's why I want to put the Spider-Verse at number 1 because it's personally like attached to me because like it reminds me of my favorite movie of all time, like Akira and stuff like that because it's
Definitely the Akira of our generation.
Yeah, it is definitely the Akira of our generation, and
The way
nobody.
that they animate like light and motion
Yes,
and
for
like
sure.
functional decision making, like
Yeah.
in real time in animation, is like incredible. The moment where he's sneaking around his uncle's
Yeah.
apartment and he's like chasing him, and
So good.
it's not just him that's chasing him, but it's also his shadow is. Oh, it's so good.
Okay, we don't want to go on a tangent on this, but at the end of the day, what you want to do is. What you want to do in a particular field is specifically like.
I don't really care what movie's the best movie.
I don't know.
Everyone, let's say it on 3.
Wait, no. Okay, everybody say it on 3 because we're running short of time. 1,
1,
2, 3.
2,
Roma.
3.
I don't know. I froze up.
You're the only one that said something. Are we saying okay between Moonlight?
Hold
Roma?
on. Sorry. I'm sorry.
This
This will hold on.
I'm okay with that.
This actually will make. I think this action right now that I'm about to propose would make this whole thing a lot easier.
Go.
Buck Frozen. Take it off the list. Bump everything down 1.
We
did that.
literally
Alright,
just
let's
said
do
that
that.
so many
I
times.
did that.
Are we doing that?
Okay.
Wolf of Wall Street number 2
Wolf of
on.
Wall Street number
Sorry,
2,
sorry, Gigi.
Moonlight number
No,
But
I mean, like,
with the
it's
movies
fine.
we're talking about, like
wait,
I don't
can you
know. I
shut
feel
the-
like
Nah, you just.
But the movies we're talking about, it's
First
not
of
absolutely
all,
sure
it's
that that was the
you
best plan
I'm
of
talking
action.
to about
If Moonlight is
Frozen.
number 1, hold on. If Moonlight is number 1 and Wolf of Wall Street is number 2, I believe it unfair to not put Roma on the list.
I believe so
Roma
too.
as like number 7.
What is
No,
number
that
seven?
is-
Or do you want it in the
No.
top 5?
No, it has to
I
be.
think it can be Roma 2 and then something else 1.
I put Wolf
Or
as 2.
Wolf 2,
I
Roma 1?
absolutely think we should have Roma before Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
for
think,
sure.
I think Roma 2 and then Wolf of Wall Street.
I don't think Wolf of Wall Street is in my top 5 to be honest.
I don't. Yeah.
It's
I mean,
top
Me
10.
neither.
It's
I've
not
watched
top
that
5.
movie a
It's
bunch
top
of
10.
times.
We can
I
put
love
Wolf at
Martin
10.
Scorsese.
Can we put Wolf at 10? Is there a spot at 10?
Because it's still a really good movie, and I love that movie.
Yeah,
Alright,
yeah.
but is Baby Driver at 10 right now? Because I
Baby
want
Driver- Driver's at
is
8.
I want to swap the two.
Okay, yeah.
I think Baby Driver is
that
worse
makes
as
sense.
a movie.
It
Yeah,
is.
I
As
agree.
a
I
movie,
agree.
Because it
I
was
appreciate
not
that
a good
sacrifice.
movie.
No, it was a good movie. It was a good movie. It just wasn't.
The performances in Wolf of Wall Street by the
Yeah,
actors
it's just
alone.
not-
Yeah, that's what I'm
like,
saying.
Yeah.
Like, what's her name? The woman that plays his wife.
Margot Robbie?
Nicole
Margot Robbie.
Garvinson.
Okay,
Oh, I don't know.
Margot. The scene where Margot
don't know.
Robbie.
She's a great actress.
Hold on, I want to talk about this
Agreed.
because we're talking about.
Like I, Tanya.
We're talking
or
about.
whatever.
We're talking about.
Oh,
she was
fuck.
so good in that.
Covering.
I
We're talking about movies that cover the struggle
Sharon
of
Tate.
humanity a lot
Oh,
in this
yeah.
in this thing. And the scene where Margot Robbie plays his wife when he comes home and she has threatened to take away, like, whatever, like, he's intoxicated, he rapes her, and then she threatens to take away the kids and divorce him. He, like, rips the couch in half, does, like, a pile of cocaine, and then she has to fight with him over her daughter. Like, the way she acts that entire sequence, the fact that your heart rate never slows down the entire time, makes me cry every single time I watch it. She's...
That lady is just really good.
Like,
she's gonna get an Oscar.
she's
if she
so
doesn't have
good
one.
at portraying, like,
She's good at characters.
agony. It's crazy. how
She's good at
she is.
crazy character.
Like,
Yeah.
Like just
all of it.
throwing
But
fits and
like,
stuff.
even
I feel
all
so
the
sad
time.
that
Oh,
she
yeah, yeah,
had to
of
do
course.
play
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn in
Sorry.
Suicide Squad. By the way, everybody check out the next episode. That's gonna be worst of the decade.
Wait,
Spoiler
wait,
alert,
wait. Before
Suicide
we do
Squad
that,
is number
can
one.
we
Hold
can
on.
we like list
Reading
what
off,
I
like,
All
okay,
right,
bye.
let's finish
Damn.
listing the final list
go.
for Film for Thought of
Wait, we
movies
did
of the
it?
decade.
Yeah, we did it.
Maya.
it.
We did it!
All right, we
and
did
then
it,
we're
guys.
gonna
That was
can,
really
hey.
That was
Hey,
hard.
All right,
Staging the
let's-
room. Is it okay if I list my horrible list at the end just for humor's sake?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I think that would be
I
hilarious.
also want to give a shout out to some movies that didn't make the list that I love.
Yeah.
Only like 3
I
of
feel
them.
like okay, so let's
Yeah, yeah.
Let's list the
Maya,
list. Yeah.
Maya's gonna say the top 10 list for Film for Thought,
Then we're
and
gonna
then
shout
let's all go
Three.
around, and then
Shout out three.
and then we shout out 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so here is top 10 list. Please insert a drum roll.
Okay. We can just.
Start from 10. Baby Driver, Whiplash, Wolf of Wall Street, The Lobster, Lady Bird, Boyhood, Grand Budapest Hotel. 3 is Intro to Spider-Verse. 2 is Roma, and 1 is Moonlight.
Number 1 is La La Land.
La La Land.
Okay, wait a minute.
Alright, I guess.
You know what? Is it too late?
Alright,
What do you wanna say?
Serious.
So
No,
with,
Moonlight-
with that said, I think that those
It rubs me the
movies
wrong way.
are
I do
merely
like
a
Moonlight, though.
fraction of the movies that are worth watching and
Yeah.
worth experiencing.
Yeah.
And if you want to get into film, this is a great place to
Start.
But in
Start.
no capacity should you stop here.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it
don't.
is a wide world of fantastic movies. The 3 that I'd like to call out that did not make the list but make my list in my mind are Sing Street, which I already mentioned at the beginning and called out. Fantastic movie for character development, and like you feel the love between all the characters no matter what their position is and no matter what the fight is, and that's great. I think that my second one is Mad Max Fury Road. There has not been an action movie that stands up to Mad Max Fury Road in this
Yep,
decade.
Facts.
it's so good in that fucking movie.
That movie is the rage that is being a filmmaker put to film, like the pent up creative fury that I feel every day, like is that movie. And then
Jeez.
I think my final one is Captain Fantastic with Viggo Mortensen is just like a story about this man like trying to raise his kids to be good people and trying to teach them what it means to be human even if you're not engaged in human society, and it's really powerful for me. So.
Oh, I forgot to mention. Not only did my show cry, I auditioned for American Idol with that song actually, and I
friend got onto
kept
American
going.
Idol and made it to 5th place.
My friend is
Flexed
Adam
on.
Lambert. So
I own American Idol, so
I'm poor.
My name is American Idol.
My dad is Robert
Hi, nice to
Iger.
meet you.
I
It's me,
own
Mr.
Disney.
Idol.
Alright.
Okay. I'm gonna go for my 3 recommendations. I'd really like to say that these movies like really shifted the way that I like think about film and just like picture the entire industry and the hardships that one has to go through, like to act and project and to produce and to do everything like in a creative field in order to create a realistic story. Firstly, I wanna talk about You're Never Really Here, that starts Joaquin Phoenix, and he has just such a stupendous job from him, and the way that they depict a man with severe PTSD, which just has just tremendous psychological issues, and it's the way that it's shot. It's so heart-wrenching, and it's just like every time I think about this movie and just like a specific scenes, I get nervous and I sweat because it really makes you feel, and I feel like that's really important. And another one, it's Meet Earl and the Dying Girl that I was previously talking about with Maya. I think this is one of those movies that really like brought me into this career, this field, because I don't know, I especially with like identifying such with the protagonist of the movie, and at the same time just the grandioseness of the story and the way that it was projected onto the screen just like really laid it out, and it was like truly something to like bestow. And another one I want to mention is First Reformed. Yeah, that's it.
skip me. You
explanation.
guys go because my list is
Okay,
stupid.
yeah.
I'm not gonna
Right before-
explain any of mine. I'm just gonna say like these
you
are
like
the
'em, you like
movies.
'em. If you like 'em, you
Laugh
like 'em.
or not, I guess.
True, if you like it.
If you like them, you like them. You want to say them?
You okay? All right. I'm not gonna explain them because there's a lot. I'm not even just doing 3. I'm just listing all 10 that I picked.
Okay.
So they're not in any order. My personal best were grammar, Skyfall, James Bond movie, The Avengers, the original first Avengers, The Greatest Showman, because I didn't like La La Land, Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 2, Kingsman, both of them, they're both really good. Life of Pi, True Grit, Deadpool, Toy Story 3, and Frozen. the
Okay, you
end.
know what?
Now
Life
the
of Pi
audience
is a
knows
beautiful
the
movie.
pain we had to go
I
through.
respect that one.
The hour and a half of talking about this episode before we actually did this episode was excruciating.
Yeah, they roasted me for like a
Before,
good
before
15
Carmen
minutes.
and Vega, I'd like to just say one more movie that we all forgot to list that I
Yeah.
think it's a really phenomenally done movie with a phenomenally done performance.
Frozen 2.
And I forgot that it was made in this decade, but Dallas Buyers Club is the most honest movie.
I'm so uneducated.
That portrays AIDS in America and like what it is actually to like live as a like poor man in Texas who can't sustain himself and also like is dying.
I considered it, but it's not my top 10.
It's not in my top 10, but it's really good. It's a really good movie. Shout out to Dallas Buyers Club.
Shout out
Shout out Matthew McConaughey. Also, shout out to his Oscars speech for winning the Oscar for that movie. It's fire.
Okay,
All right.
Carmen, Ben.
My 3, number 1, Frances Ha. 2012.
It's kind of a sin that that's not on the list,
It is
honestly.
kind of that movie made me cry. It's not a movie that should make you cry. It's not sad or anything, but it's so.
It's sad.
I mean, yeah, but it's not a movie that like would make you weep. Really,
felt how I
it's
felt.
so beautiful, and it's just like you. Oh man, you just don't really see life in film like that.
Here's the thing: is like it makes you cry because it's not like so over dramatic. It's not
It's
so
not.
over the
And
top.
it's like-
Nobody
it's really
dies.
real life.
Nobody dies. Nobody fucking gets divorced. Like I don't know. Like nothing crazy happens. But it's just her pain is real still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Frances Ha was mine. Also, The Florida Project by Sean Baker.
Yeah.
That movie, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I really want you guys to see these movies. But The Florida Project is about these kids, and it's so well made. And it's just like these kids. Oh my God, their performances are beautiful, and you just see what it is to be like a kid in a low income situation in a household, and it's just beautiful. Just watch it. Also Tangerine by Sean Baker. It's about black trans women in Los Angeles, and to be made by a white man is kind of risky, but he does it with such care. Shout out Sean Baker.
Also, shout out John Baker because he directs and edits.
Which
is so weird, but like works so well. And like I feel like it's crazy to be on both ends of the story like that. To be there while it's shooting and controlling the story then, and then to also be there and post and doing all of that yourself. I don't know. That's crazy. So
he does his movies with such care.
Yeah.
His oh my God, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Shout out to Sean Baker one time. Okay, so for 3 that I want to shout out. So number 1 that nobody I don't think has seen this movie, but it's one of my favorites. And it's a Richard Linklater movie who directed Boyhood, who also directed like Dazed and Confused and The Waking Life, if you've seen that. A bunch of other really good movies. It's called Everybody Wants Some. It came out in 2016. It's about a college baseball team. It's just a silly movie. It's nothing special really. It has a 6.9 on IMDb. It seems unassuming, but like I really liked it. I rated it a 10 because I don't know, the actors are great. The dynamic between all the dudes is really funny. I've never seen a movie that like made me laugh so much without really trying that hard, and also at the same time kind of made me a little sad. The way it just kind of ends, and like it's one of those movies that I call like a slice of life movie, and it's like the type of movies I kind of want to make, like Frances Ha.
I want to make those
It's just a picture of their life, and it's not really like a huge. They don't tie it up with a little bow at the end. It's just a piece of their life. It's just their life. You can go you can exit the door if you want. I won't kill you.
I'm exiting the door real quick. I'll be right back.
Hero is exiting the door.
Hero
he doesn't
is
care about
leaving
Ben's
and
list.
never coming back.
Okay, so Everybody Wants Some. I knew it wasn't gonna make the top 10 because nobody's seen it, but I really liked it. Okay, another one I want to shout out, Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
I really liked it.
Yes.
The Coen
Definitely.
brothers.
The Coen brothers.
Most
Oh,
recent
God.
movie. It's just a bunch of vignettes and like it's just like a bunch of weird shit that happens in cowboy times, and I don't know, all the stories were really powerful, and they were all like within like a 20 or 30 minutes time span, and it could have been like a mini series, but the way they put it into a movie,
It really just played well. Like I know exactly what you mean. Like I watched that movie with my best friend, who was also like the artist for the show, and like we just thoroughly enjoyed it. And also like the playful aspect of the movie, and just like how it wrote itself out, and like the depth the characters had, but at the same time just like maintaining itself a very like light mood. It was really impressive.
Yeah. And then the last one I want to shout out, just because like we haven't talked about it and it's kind of easy, but Joker. Like shout out to Joker. Like come on, we didn't talk about Joker. Shout out to Joker.
First R-rated movie to reach $1 billion that is historical. So.
Yeah, shout out to Joaquin. Shout out to Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips.
Shout out
my
to
man.
whoever the fuck was the DP on that shit. because
for sure.
it was beautifully shot, and whoever color graded it too. I don't know. It just shout out to it.
Whoever edited that movie, just
Yeah,
mwah,
great movie. So
chef's kiss.
I understand why it's not on the top 10, but I feel like it's a sin if we don't at least mention it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Maya?
All right. I want to shout out Shape of Water because it was really pretty. I really liked the opening sequence, everything being underwater. I thought it was a beautiful story, and like didn't fuck with everybody being like, it's a girl fucking a fish.
Like,
It was deeper than that. It was told a really cool story about like alienation and like, you know, people being fucked up in the way that they are.
Gotta see
Also, I really like Train to Busan. It's a Korean film. I like don't really like zombie movies, but like that one was really good. Like,
oh,
it
I watched
freaked
this.
me
I
out.
watched this the other day.
Yeah,
Like
I
a
really-
week ago. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I really like it because I think first of all the main actor he was a good actor. Like he portrayed his character well. The little girl, child actor. Like gotta appreciate child actors. They're, like,
Oh yeah, watch the Florida Project. I'm telling you.
It was really well. Like
Or
I felt
Boyhood.
the chemistry. I felt the chemistry between all of them trying to survive, and like the zombies were just acted great. Like it was really erratic and creepy, and they're just on this train stuck with like zombies trying to like make it out, and like all these shit kept happening, and like it was a really cool like outbreak story. Like I could see it happening. Like I like movies like that. And then this isn't like cinematically like amazing or anything, but I thought This Is the End was like really funny. I really liked how they like had real actors, and like that was part
Oh
of the
yeah,
joke.
I loved that.
I really liked
This is the end, starring everybody.
starring everybody.
Everybody, a who's who of Hollywood.
I loved it. It was so funny. So yeah, that's it.
Well,
Yeah.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Yeah.
Well,
Watch Francis Ha and the Florida Project.
Yeah, watch Francis Ha.
thank you everybody who's been listening. What minute are we on? Like 1:30 or something like that, probably. 1:20.
Ooh,
Not bad.
Yeah,
Not
not
bad.
that bad. We thought we were
For
gonna
top
do
10 of the
more.
decade, I mean, come on, we
Yeah,
did that in
1:30.
an hour
Yeah,
20.
we went a little quick, so
That's-
I feel like that's good, and
Yeah.
we kept it civil.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd like to
nobody's-
thank all our listeners as well as our artist who does our art, does our logo and does our weekly art.
yeah.
Sergio
Beautiful
Diaz.
art.
You can follow him at the Slurpee Art Portfolio, and our musician and composer that does our little jingle. That's at Samuel B on Instagram. Well, if you guys want to plug anything, please go ahead.
Francis Ha, the Florida Project.
It's like, wait, plug is like what you're doing for
No,
the.
plug like you want to plug something like what
you
you're
wanna let
doing.
it-
Yeah, what
like
I'm doing. That's what
Your
I'm saying.
Instagram or something like
Give the
that.
mic a little closer.
I know. Give me a second. I'm like, my body's not functioning correctly right now. But
Oh, no. Gigi actually is
anything I'm doing
dying.
this week? Well, I'm going home soon on Friday. Not this Friday, next Friday, because Christmas break. Woo.
Well,
But otherwise,
No.
nothing much.
We don't have timing.
Okay, adios.
Cut it out.
That's all I was
All
gonna
right,
say.
never
I
mind.
think it's like no plugs.
our producer is just like no.
No, stop.
I just got
Okay.
PR for makeup. I don't know if anybody cares about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
Tell
All right.
everyone to follow you on Instagram.
Yeah, Glammaster Winja. That's my username if you can spell it.
Windsor.
W like ninja, but with a W.
Okay.
That's pretty
There
much
we
what
go.
it is.
All right. Well, thank you to everybody who's here.
Follow me on Instagram at JIROROMA, no capitals. I'll be putting out a music video on New Year's ish. My name's Jiro, Roma Films, gang gang.
We're cutting this.
Follow
right?
me on Instagram.
All right.
Follow me on
I think
Instagram.
that's
My
everything.
username is Carmen K Denning. I lost 7 billion followers, so you know I need those 7 billion back.
Wait,
Yeah.
7 billion.
Follow me
Yes.
on Instagram at Champagne Poppy. I post pictures.
Wait,
All right,
really?
cut, Monica, cut.
End this, please. End this in the middle of my sentence. Right?
Well, thank you for tuning in to the 4th episode of Film for Thought. This has been top movies of the decade. Please follow us on Instagram at _Film for Thought and on Twitter at _Film for Thought as well. And check out our videos on YouTube. Well, thank you very much and see y'all next time.